What's up, YouTube? Scully here. Been a minute. Gonna do like a little channel update. How about that? So it's been over a year. Been gone. Started this channel, and I got some subscribers, like a whole 130 of them. Believe me, guys, I appreciate it. Uh, and I noticed that the majority of you guys were sending me private messages, really all the way up until like a couple months ago, asking me if I was okay, because I know the last few videos I posted a while ago were kind of sketchy a little bit. Made it look like maybe I was a little unstable, maybe I wasn't happy, scared, whatever. Everything's fine. It had a lot to do with a bad relationship that I was in. No longer in that relationship. I'm in a great relationship. Live in a great house. Happy with my life. God is good. So everything is great. Just want to get that out of the way. I appreciate you guys being concerned. As a matter of fact, um, a lot of you guys were more concerned about me than my own family. Not my immediate family, like my mother and father and my sister, but you know what I'm saying. So that's pretty cool. But at the same time, it's not so cool for my family. But whatever. Not really worried about that. Just want to go through a couple other things. Okay, let's get a few things clear. I changed the name of my channel. It's called Insomniac by Choice, and that is because I've woken up and I've chosen to stay awake. I haven't slipped on back into the slumber of institutionalized media and education. I have continued to be an autodidact. Okay, I'll get back to that later. And everything's good. So basically, what I want to point out is that there's going to be one difference. I often thought about, like, should I stop showing my face? It's the internet. Honestly, guys, I know some guys out there who I highly, highly respect don't show their face, and that's fine. I, on the other hand, I feel comfortable with this because as I'm talking to you, I'm really talking to this little hole here on my phone. I like it. I like this format. It makes me comfortable. I'm sticking with it. If you don't like it, you can go ahead and hit the unsubscribe button. Whatever makes you happy. I don't care. I'm not really doing this for the people who hate my guts. I'm doing this for people who are interested in things that I'm interested in. Simple as that. Has nothing to do with the way I look. Has nothing to do with how I talk or faces I make. I can do all that, but it doesn't matter. If you can't just hear normal conversation and information, then you need to kind of back up away from your computer and start over again, because I tend to live my life in person. I don't do Facebook. I don't do social media. This is really the only social media I do, and I haven't really been doing it. So that's where I'm at. I'm a ghost when it comes to that, but on here, I don't really care. So this is what I like to do. This is my format, and I'm sticking to it. So on from there. So basically what I want to start focusing on is the community of truthers and how we deal with each other, and not only that, how we deal with the people who are still asleep. And which brings me to the things that I've been hearing and seeing on all the comments and stuff. I mean, it is absolutely ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous the way that people, the difference between asleep and not asleep. Okay, people who are still programmed. It's simple as that. There's really no in between. You're either programmed, hooked into the matrix, or you're not. And when I say you're not, I mean nobody is completely unhooked. There's an actual outward decision of unplugging yourself, and that's a process. It takes time. But what I'm saying is that there is a clear and clean cut difference between people who are choosing to unplug themselves and people who haven't even thought about it. People who haven't even considered it. Matter of fact, people who haven't even considered it, it's been programmed into them to pretty much hate anybody who says anything other than what the programmable status quo is. And we all know what those things are, as far as in the truther community. I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm not here to convince you. All I'm here to do is be a part of the community and share some stuff. I see a lot of guys that I started out watching that helped me along the process of waking up. KJ, scariest movie ever made. Awesome. The guy is going strong. He's evolving. He's doing his thing, man. The guy isn't backing down, and he stays true to what he does and what makes him comfortable. And I totally respect him for that. I love the guy's style. Marishima, dude is rocking and rolling, man. Apparently he's a rock and roller. I'm cool with that because I am too. And but the guy rocks, man. The guy is just, you know, he's not claiming to be an expert on anything. He's just a thought provoker, man. He's a thought provoker. And that's what I want to be. I want to be a thought provoker. That's what I do in my personal life with my friends and my family, and that's what I want to continue to do. And if I can outreach further than that, then that's what I want to do. So what I've noticed is the split in these comments and stuff. You know, like that if you don't agree with let's say the moon landing, right? The moon landing or the flat Earth. Flat Earth, right? If you don't agree with it, and anybody who mentions it to the people who are still programmed, we're effing retards, man. You are unable to learn. You don't understand facts. You can't read a book. You know. The funny thing about that is it's the complete opposite. Matter of fact, it points me out. It reminds me of a guy who made the comment that saying against truthers or people in this community that there are no autodidacts left. You know, that nobody can teach themselves anymore. And what's funny about that is I became a truther. I became into this community because I taught myself the truth. You see, nobody's going to hand it to you. The only thing that's handed to you is programmable BS. And so for someone to say that there are no more autodidacts left, as a matter of fact, that's how I got here, bro. I got here because I taught myself. I have the ability to pick up a college textbook, read it, and I don't need some old gray-haired mustache dude with a pipe in his mouth to tell me that I understand what I'm reading. I understand it, and I can make my own decision from there on out. That is what an autodidact is. 99% of the people who are where I am are autodidacts. So there's a little bit of cognitive disconnect there. Cognitive dissonance, you know. Moving on. Which brings me to the time when I was one of these people. And I posted a video back in the beginning when I started saying at the beginning of a beautiful relationship. You should go check it out. It's one of the ones I'm probably going to leave up. But basically, I remember this time in like 2004. I was working out of town in Tampa, Florida. I used to be a welder and whatnot. And I'd gotten off work late, had gone to Chili's to eat supper with a guy that I worked with, who I'd become very close friends with, who had just gotten out of the service. He was an ordnance specialist in the Army, served in Iraq, very intelligent guy, hard worker, became a very close friend of mine, despite our opposite worldviews, because at that time, I was a hardcore Republican, Fox News all the way, George Bush's mad guy, and 9/11 was not an inside job, by God, right? I specifically remember one of the anniversaries around that time of 9/11. I was riding around and I saw some people standing on the sidewalk at an intersection holding up signs saying that 9/11 was an inside job. At that time, I was still asleep programmed, and I rolled down my window and I proceeded to cuss them out to the point to where they ran. I was screaming. They probably thought I was going to pull out a gun or something, but I didn't, because, you know, whatever. But my point is that it's funny how people who are awake have both sides of the spectrum, because, see, now I can look back and see how wrong I was for thinking that people who were awake were crazy. I'm a very intelligent guy. I really don't need anybody's approval for that, you know. But the thing is that there's something healthy in being able to back away from everything our fifth grade teachers told us and everything that our college professors taught us, and decide for yourself for once. Erase everything and start over. that is a much more balanced, healthy worldview than rather just having that knee-jerk reaction. Anybody that doesn't go along with the programmable status quo is an effing retard. That's that's not the way to go, man. I I recommend that anybody that feels that way challenge yourself. If you're so smart, challenge yourself and do the same research that all the people in this community are doing, and do certain thought exercises. For instance, flat Earth. Ooh, flat Earth, huh? Freaky stuff. Flat Earth is, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Earth is flat. I'm not going to say it's round and globe either. But what I am going to say is, I don't know. That's it. I don't know. I don't know. So what that requires me to do is to back up, unprogram everything that's been put there, and start over. It's called thought exercise. For all you intellects who think truthers are idiots, this is what we do. We do thought exercises. We don't just depend on what someone has told us. I love how when truthers talk about the moon landing, that it was a hoax and all these people who believe that it was real, they keep throwing NASA facts at you. You see, that just doesn't cut it. Because for a truther, we had to leave NASA's facts behind and choose for ourselves. You see, it's called common sense, right? Common sense, man. So, kind of like, can't we just take this cool digital technology and, inspect these tapes that were made back in the day of these people walking up on the moon? But we can't, because NASA claims they lost the original footage. See, this is something that requires common sense, but the programmed person says, oh, it's a lot of bureaucracy and logistics are insane in NASA. I can see how that would happen. No. What it really is saying is that if I was your lawyer and you committed murder and I claimed that I had a tape that would exonerate you completely and prove that you weren't even there and that someone else did it in your name and it would prove it, but I lost the tape, you're just going to have to take my word for it, right? That's the same thing. But yet there's a cognitive dissonance between people who are programmed. They're unable to make that connection. They're not stupid people. They're just programmed. You see, all of us who are awake, we're all programmed at one point. Were we not? Didn't we all kind of grow up in the same thing? See, I grew up in the 80s and 90s. That was like the first major round of programming, okay? We were the last generation to see technology come into fruition. Now the kids that are coming up, they don't stand a chance. It's like we are their chance. We're their only chance. So anyway, just want to put that out there. That's going to be kind of the vibe of what I'm going to be doing now, man. I'm not going to be having fancy videos, which is cool. Nothing against the guys that do, man. I'm kind of jelly of that because I wish I had that kind of knowledge and know-how, because it is kind of slick to watch a slick video. Shout out KJ. But, I'm just going to jump back into the community and keep it real this time. I don't really want to cause any ruffles or anything like that. I just want to be a part of it, man. And I get it, and I want to help the people that don't. There's a gray line area of people that can easily slip through, and those are the people I want to reach. So if you're still introduced in my channel,